Good morning, folks. Ron Ray here with Turning 65 Solutions. One of our most popular videos on this YouTube channel over the years has been one called What Does Long-Term Care Cost in 2021? We did that video in 2021 and it's still one of our most popular videos to this day. And I thought, though, it'd be a good time. It's been about 2 years. It'd be a good time to update that and see, what's happened with the landscape of long-term care and what the costs are. We know that currently in our country, we're in a very high inflationary period. So it is February 2023. Inflation's a little over 6% currently. Back last August, it was almost 9%, 8.9%, the highest inflation rate in 40 years. And that's just the regular rate of inflation, the consumer price index, however the government measures standard across the board inflation on normal, everyday, average age, average income Americans. There's something else called the consumer price index for seniors. It's not exactly called that. They've got this long name for it, but it's another measurement that the government keeps track of. And that is tracking quite a bit higher and always has, historically for seniors, the rate of inflation is quite a bit higher. We have more healthcare costs, more just the cost of things that seniors do, increases in price, inflationary increases higher than the average rate of increase. Okay? And then there's something else called the healthcare rate of inflation. And the rate of healthcare for seniors historically tracks about 2 times the standard rate of inflation. So if they tell us that the historical rate of inflation is about 3%, well, you can bet that healthcare is increasing in cost by about 6% a year. So if it's 6.7% in February of 2023, well, it's a safe bet that the inflationary rate of healthcare for seniors especially is close to 13%, okay? So let's just look at the cost of long-term care. So we know that once you're 65 and you're on Medicare, if you have a good supplement, Medicare supplement, Medigap plan like a Plan G or a Plan N, the cost of your healthcare is actually going to be fairly low. You're going to pay your monthly premium for Medicare Part B, you'll pay your monthly premium for your supplement, your Plan G, and then except for prescriptions, you're really not going to pay much else. You have a $226 deductible for doctors and outpatient services, but that's about it. Now, prescriptions are a different story. They are subject to inflation. Your Part B drug plans, although the average premium on those plans did decrease quite a bit this year from last year in 2023, the cost of those drugs certainly did not decrease. So there's some inflation there. But one thing that Medicare nor your supplement cover is something called long-term care. So this is nursing homes, assisted living facilities, at-home long-term assistance care. And this is not medical care. Medicare does cover some care in a skilled nursing facility, but it's very short term. It has to be after a hospital stay. There's a bunch of strings attached to it, and it's very short term. Once you pass that period where Medicare is no longer going to pay for that skilled nursing facility, you're on your own, right? So that either has to come out of your pocket. If you don't have the funds for it, you can go on Medicaid, at which case you're subject to the rules of the state that you live in. We're here in Texas. Or you have planned ahead, you've bought some type of insurance that covers long-term care, or you've earmarked some of your own funds and hopefully leverage those a bit for the purposes of long-term care. That's very important because we're going to find out what long-term care costs right here. So I've got this web page pulled up, this public web page. It belongs to Genworth. They're a huge life insurance company. They're also one of the last major players in the long-term care insurance business. Most of them have gotten out. They just don't have the stomach for it anymore. It's a very expensive program for them. And it's very hard for insurance companies to price these long-term care insurance plans and make a profit, because the payout on them when or if the plans pay out is many years down the road, a decade or two, and people are living longer, and inflation on healthcare is going up so fast that these plans just aren't very profitable for the insurance companies without really raising the rates over time, in which case they become unaffordable and people cancel them. Okay, so it's just to tell you, Genworth's one of the big companies that still is in this business. They still care about it. If and when we ever sell a long-term care policy, we're quoting Genworth. We're looking at Mutual of Omaha. We're looking at a couple of others, but there's really only a couple major players in this business today. But the point of this website is that it will let you, they do a survey every year, and they know from the claims that they pay out of what the cost of care is. Okay, and they go back, and we're working on 1.5, 2-year-old information. But when we did this video in 2021, we were actually looking at 2019's data. So this is 2 years newer data. It's going to cost a little bit more due to inflation. We can add a factor to it and figure that out. So we're just going to say we're in Texas. That's where most of our customers are. We serve the great state of Texas here at Turning 65 Solutions, several other states with other agents, but our primary focus is here in Texas. And if we're looking at a monthly rate for in-home care in the state of Texas, just a regular homemaker, somebody to come into your home on a periodic basis to help you with the activities of daily living, dressing, bathing, doing some laundry, maybe making a meal or two a day, doing some light housekeeping, those kinds of things. We call that in-home care, personal attendant services. It's not medical care. It's non-skilled. They're not giving medication. They may give medication reminders, but they're not administering any medication. They're not doing anything medically. They're not changing wound dressings or anything like that, changing catheters. They might take care of incontinence care, changing adult diapers or briefs, things like that, giving baths. They can do that, but that's about it. That care costs about $4,500 a month. Okay, so in-home care is very expensive, and I can tell you, I own a home care business called Homestead Family Health, and it is a very tough business. It's so much harder than the insurance business, because it's very hard to hire people and pay them what they're worth for good people. Because in order to pay these good people what they're worth, we have to charge the customer so much money, and it just becomes unaffordable. But about $4,500 is what you can expect to pay for that in-home care. Now we go up to the next level of long-term care, and that would be the adult daycare. And so this is where you're going to take your mom or dad and drop them off. You need to go to work. You're say maybe you're 65 and you have a 85 or 90-year-old parent, and they're okay. They don't need medical care, but they're living with you, but you're not done working yet, and you need to go out and work. Or maybe you're, my age, you're 47, and your mom is needing a little bit of help, and she comes to live with you, or vice versa. You go to live with her and take care of her, but you're 47, so you still have to work. You've got young children. You're part of the sandwich generation. You've got young children that you're still raising, so you have to work. Well, you can take mom off and drop her off at what's called an adult daycare. So that's just a group setting like you would have for a daily childcare when you're working and raising kids. Maybe you had your kids in a daycare, which is what my wife and I did. And now we have them in school. They're a little bit older. They're in school, but somebody still needs to watch mom during the day. Well, that's going to cost you about probably a little over $800 a month in 2023. And then we have assisted living facilities. So this is where you're living in a facility or a community. You may be in a big communal building. You may be in a little cottage on your own, a little apartment on your own. And but you're in a community setting, but you still don't need that skilled nursing care. You just need some help with things. You need help with meals. You need help with cleaning, laundry, maybe bathing and incontinence care. Well, that's called assisted living, and that's going to cost you about $4,000 to $5,000 a month, depending on your location. Even around the state, that can vary greatly. It would cost far more in area like Dallas than it would maybe in San Antonio. We find typically $4,000 to $5,000 a month here where we're at in Central Texas, in New Braunfels, kind of halfway between San Antonio and Austin. Now, if you need to go to a skilled nursing facility or memory care, this is where you need that 24-hour-a-day medical supervision. You need to have a registered nurse on site. They have LVNs, they have certified nurses aides, and you have that 24-hour intensive supervision in a nursing home. This is a nursing home, a retirement home, a convalescent center, skilled nursing facility, whatever names they go by, that's what it is. And you can have a semi-private room where you're sharing a room with one other person. That's going to cost you, between $5,000 and $7,000. And if you have a private room, though, that goes way up. That's going to be $7,000 to $9,000 a month for a private room in a skilled nursing facility. One other thing that they don't really keep track of here is what's called a residential assisted living. So these are, I should have covered this a minute ago, but under assisted living also falls a concept called residential assisted living. This is where somebody owns a house, say a 4 or 5 bedroom house, and they take care of a much smaller number of people. So they may have 4 to maybe even 8 people in a 5 bedroom house. You've got a couple of private rooms and a couple of semi-private rooms, and they have an attendant there. Maybe the attendant lives there with the residents, or maybe they do it on a rotating basis and they don't live there, but it's much closer contact. So the ratio of attendants to residents is much lower than you would get in a nursing home or in an assisted living facility, but it's much higher than one-on-one care in your own home. So the price falls kind of in between, and we find that those residential assisted living homes are going to run somewhere between about $3,000 and about $5,000 a month, depending on the number of people in the home, the type of room that you have, how new it is in your area. So it's kind of in between in-home care and assisted living, but it's still not skilled care. For skilled care, you're going to need to go to a nursing facility probably. So there we go. We've got a vast range of cost. That's a monthly cost, but here's the scary one. You add it up over the year, and it's gone up. And they'll show you here the change from 2020 to 2021. Those home health aid services increased by 10%. No change in the community assisted living facility. Assisted living facility costs. Adult daycare went up about 10%. And a semi-private room in a nursing facility went up about 2%. But I can tell you that's really not the case because of the shortage that we have. It's really more at crisis levels, a shortage of good quality nurses aides, certified nurses aides, non-skilled but not quite nurses. It's very, very hard to find good people, and you have to pay them a lot. So I'm going to suggest to you that these numbers for a semi-private room are not correct, because if a private room went up by 11%, a semi-private room, I can guarantee you, went up by 11% as well. Remember, I'm in this business with another business of mine. I know what it costs to pay people, and I know what it's increased over the last 3 years, and it is astronomical. And it's a very tough business to be in right now. And that is, I'm gonna promise you that that's not an accurate number. But regardless, it's very expensive. We know from different sources like AARP surveys and even Genworth here that about 70% of all people who are 65 and over today are going to need some level of long-term care. You're going to need one of these forms of long-term care. 7 out of 10 of you that are 65 and over are going to need some form of care. And there are still to this day 10,000 people turning 65 every single day in this country, and that trend is going to continue for about the next 20 years. Now, it's really going to peak at about 2030, but it doesn't go away in 2030. It just peaks, and then it slowly is going to start tapering off till we get to the end of the baby boomer generation turning 65, and that's where I come in at 65, and that's in less than 20 years. So I hope you found this information helpful, eye-opening, and I can tell you that we help people all the time make plans for this type of care. So that's number one, having a good Medicare supplement or even a good Medicare Advantage plan. Medicare Advantage plans do pay for a little bit of this care, a little bit more than Medicare does, but not a lot. So we need to have a plan, whether that's buying long-term care insurance or a life insurance policy that has long-term care benefits. You may already have one of those. We can give a look at it and tell you if that's one of those good type policies, or maybe a type of an asset-based program where we take a portion of your money and just set it aside and earmark it for long-term care. So it's set there, it's got some leverage, so it's not just spending it dollar for dollar. Or maybe you don't have any money of your own, any significant savings that's going to pay for even 2 or 3 months in a nursing home. Well, then we're going to fall back on Medicaid, the state program that helps people with this, and we certainly know how to get you to Medicaid. Maybe you've got a little bit of assets, and we want to protect those and not let the state get a hold of them, or you have to liquidate them. Well, we have ways, legal ways to get that done. So give us a call. The number is 830-217-6711. We're here to help. We love answering questions. We're very educational and non-salesy. We don't ever pressure anybody into doing anything. All we do is educate you, tell you about your options, and then you just make the choice that makes the most sense to you. So give us a call. It's 830-217-6711. Also, look us up on the web at www.t65s.com. I've got a couple of great articles and videos about long-term care and long-term care insurance. I'll put the link in the video description down below so you can get to that site. Also, if you enjoyed this video, you found the information in it helpful, please give us a thumbs up down below. That helps YouTube get this video out to other people who are seeking the same information that you were today. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you can be notified when we upload a new helpful video. We're going to be continuing our update series, updating some of our past popular videos for 2023. So more to come. And I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you have a great day. Until the next time. Bye, folks.